sticks to the window screen. Now you do have to put this into the door pillar, which is where we're going to wire the aerial, and rub a little bit of the paint back and stick that on so it gets an earth. That's the only bit where you was kind of altering the car, but the way I look at it is, if you do it small enough, this sticks over it and seals it. And if you ever remove this, because it's not on view, you could just put some paint over that, and I think it's very unlikely to rust unless your car was leaking, and there are bits of bare metal in that pillar anyway, so it's not a major problem. That's really the only sort of alterations technically you do to the car. So the first thing we do is temporarily put the wire along there so we can see roughly how it's going to fit into this position. We then wire all the wiring down and check everything's wired, it reaches and everything else before we peel off the sticky back double-sided tape, stick it on, because once that's on, it's on, and it probably ruin it, or it's never going to stick right if you have to put that back again. So we'll get that temporarily hooked along. Right, so what we've done is just temporarily got this poked through the wire there so it holds up, and then what we do is then run it under these clips here and under that clip there, and then down we go then with these other wires. And the aerial wire obviously goes across the dash, but our camera wire and this wire will run right the way down the side there. So I'll show you that next. Right, so what we simply do is, as I say, let it go right through down there, and then if we come along here, you'll see it's just poking out, and all you need to do is just gently put it along there. You can use a trim tool or your fingers, and there you see it's then dropped down there underneath the dash there, and it's just sitting down here. Then it can then run along the bottom of the glove box. So now if I come back up to the window screen, it's now time to fit our DAB aerial up. I try and get it as high to the screen as possible with a little bit of a gap there on that aerial, and also I line it up with these little dotted lines. Now you've got the plastic cowling, so if you come too close to the pillar, the plastic cowling's not going to go back on, and what I found is if it lines up with those dotted lines, you've got just enough clearance, but also enough so that this little bit of copper tape or metal tape that needs to be earthed to the pillar can reach a piece of metal on that pillar. What I have done is clean the window screen with a little bit of panel wipe to remove any grease, make sure it doesn't steam up while you're doing it. Be careful on lining it up, and simply just stick it on, and we found they stay stuck up and don't really move. And I've said this in a couple of my videos, if you wonder why there's a car cover on, it just shields the little bit of light, because it's very difficult when you aim up at the window, and it's still a problem, as you can see the camera's trying to focus. If you don't have this cover on, it's just literally complete light, and the camera will not focus on anything at all. At least this way you get a little bit of focusing on things while you're doing them. Right, so that's it stuck on. I've just put a bit of cloth there to give you a better view, so you can see how that aerial wire sits as high as possible, but not too high, because I did hear something about certain tinted windows, and this has got a slightly tint to the top, could affect it. Now our other car doesn't seem to, but there is aerial wire showing past that in case that is any kind of problems. As you can hopefully see, it's just on that dotted line, so the plastic trim should just clear it. Now all we've got to do is get this stuck. So what I do is draw round it so we know the outline, and then I can then rub back the paint in that little outline, so there's a piece of bare metal for it to get its earth. Right, so hopefully what you can see is that I've peeled back that piece of full tape, and I've drawn round it, so now I can just rub back a little area to expose the bodywork for the aerials earth. Now I must say that the instructions that come with this radio don't quite make it clear, I don't think. This is what you definitely need to do. From watching a lot of other videos, it is what you need to do, and also when you know that's what you've got to do, when you read the instructions, that is what it's telling you to do, and it does improve the signal quite a lot when you're moving along. So yeah, hopefully you can see they've rubbed a little bit of paintwork off to expose the metal to get that earth in, and all I've used is a little bit of wet and dry to do that. Right, so as you can see, that piece of earthing tape is now stuck down, and it covers over the area we've rubbed down. And what I do to make sure is then put a nice piece of duct tape over that, because I think that makes sure it cannot peel up. It makes it look a little bit neater, and it protects it behind the pillar as well. So that just makes sure it definitely can't come unstuck and is stuck down, giving you a good earthing point. So that's one of the little modifications that I do. So the last thing to do is to put the pillar back, and as you can see, we've pulled the rubber seal down. Just tap it back, being careful. There's just enough gap for the pillar to get behind that little DAB aerial module, which is an amplifier as well, which I think is what helps the signal. And then it's a case of putting your rubber seal back onto the pillar,